And I hope I got my mic today. Connect to the device. Get there. Oh, camera two. Why? I just like it. Over. You're over there for me. Just like it's hair. It's hair. It's something else this morning. How are we doing, everybody? All the worlds, the universe, the greater plains, the lowlands, the badlands. Badlands was an interesting show. I watched like a season or two of it. It just got my lord, this morning has something else with these dogs. Oh, see, that got the desk. We gotta have the desktop audio, or you don't get any of the music. Just sit here, listen to this Spotify. Turn off their commercials. Ooh, we're thinking thoughts. What's up, y'all? Range Fitness Online. I'm John, RFO John. We are getting set up, our setup for our show Grinding Gains. It's a concept of nothing new. We're just taking exercise videos that are submitted. Give you my professional opinion as a exercise sewer, as a personal trainer, as one who focuses on fixing. Not, I don't fix it. You fix your own shit. I just help make observations and share my experiences with what I've done with other clients and what I've learned from studying human movement and exercise. All that to be said, pain is what motivates me. That's not really the right way to say that, but helping people get rid of pain is the whole game for me. It is what I set myself since I became a trainer to do. Part of it was, yes, I've had my own pains that help illuminate my path. I've always had different pains in my life, right? Physical pains. Probably one of the earliest ones I have remember that was significant was a pinched nerve sensation on one of my lower legs. It was my left lower leg. Going across. Now I say that though, it's probably my right. Very likely it was my right. Let me guess. Pinched nerve sensation. So the front of my shin felt like it was asleep. And the doctors just really said, do less? I don't know. Shouldn't do that. Like being like a mechanic and you go see a mechanic and like, see that thing doing that weird thing? Yeah, that's why I brought it here. And they go, because it's not supposed to do that. Yeah, thank you. Any case. That's probably one of the first time I had like what I would consider a major injury or something that was really holding me back. Besides maybe like a little pull or a tweak or maybe a rolled ankle. Even those are bad too in their own right. And they're also due to imbalances as well. I got a bad knee contusion one time. Some dude's knee hit me right in the thigh, right above my kneecap. That wasn't fun. That took me out for almost 2 months. Part of it was too, I kept re-injuring it. The joys of football. Had a pulled hamstring one time. That sucked. That was track practice. I'm sure I had other little bruises. But as far as like major things, those were the big ones, so to speak. Those were the ones that I remembered back in high school. Now I always would get little things in my neck, reading things, whatever. Very common in my mind on those. Have that happen just from life, as it were. then when I got into graduated graduated college, I ended up working a normal job, so to speak. And somewhere in there, about 4 years into that job, I decided I was probably about 5 years. I knew I needed to get, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was kind of doing that thing where I'd go to different gyms and test them out, hop into a CrossFit box and ask them about their pricing and what their schedule was, but never confirm. Eventually, I did settle on a CrossFit box. And this isn't a promotion or a condemnation, just is what it was. I probably was hitting it pretty hard at CrossFit for, I'd say, at least 3 months, maybe 4. And then it happened. I was rocking and rolling. I was feeling great, making new friends at the CrossFit box. And borderline giving myself rhabdomyolysis on my second CrossFit exercise workout attempt ever, right? So I was doing all the things CrossFit wise. Side note, rhabdo is not a good thing, not a fun thing. It is very serious and very life threatening. In any case, I felt like I was doing all the things right. You know, I had a job, working out, had a fiance. Life was good. But then next thing I knew, I was waking up in the middle of the night with a ice pick, maybe even searing pain in my hip, left hip socket. And I thought I was like saw myself then as a very knowledgeable individual in exercise and movement and body mechanics, even though I didn't really study jack shit besides, you know, college exercise class or health class and high school health class. But I really didn't know that much. But when I was waking up with this hip pain, I would stretch. I did everything I thought I knew what to do and how to do it. But it never helped. It would help while I stretched it. It would help when I was in these kind of weird, awkward, extreme positions that put more tension on the spot that hurt. But it never lasted. So I finally got to my wit's end. I stopped working out for about a month, thinking that was the issue. Hobbling along, man, I was dragging my leg around so bad. I remember it was in the valve shop. It was like a 100,000 square foot facility. If I had to go anywhere, I had to really summon in, like, all right, John, we gotta go walk 300 yards that way. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be slow, and we're gonna have to be really, really mindful on how we're picking this leg up. If I had to go fast, don't even get me going. There was no way I was going fast. That was one of the worst injuries I think I've ever had. I didn't tear nothing. I didn't rip nothing, fortunately. That also happened to be right before I became a personal trainer. So, that was a great feeling. Leaving my job, going into a new profession, and feeling hobbled. There's a lot of soul searching going on there. So in the end, I linked up with a good friend of mine who's a chiropractor, and he set me on a journey of understanding more better on how form and technique are working. I quote him often, and it's part of how I've molded how I train clients. It's a lot of how we've sculpted range fitness online. So, all that to be said, pain is the last to show, and it's the first to go. So if you're feeling anything odd or discomforting during your workout session, take note.
Your gut affects everything.
It doesn't mean you gotta.
So Ollie created two.
Doesn't mean you gotta stop everything and just sit on the couch. but it does mean you need to take note. It does mean you need to try doing something different. Today's meme, right? Learning form and technique is going to give you gains. And even nerdier is good movement minus your persistent pain is true gains, right? You can put the little absolute values there. But if you can get pain out of your movements, you're going to have true strength. You're going to have true capabilities. And so that's why we're here. That's the game. So I mean, if this registers with you, if any of this kind of get you feeling some sort of way in your tum-tum, if you're dealing with some chronic pain, whether it be during particular movements or just in life, that's why we're here. Paul's not here in the mornings with me. He is what I call the sniper. He takes care of more of the acute pain that people deal with from muscular imbalances. And then I work with more teaching movement, gross motor movement patterns like squats, deadlifts, presses, and what have you, pulls, core exercises. With our powers combined, we make range fitness. This morning I have my lovely co-host down here, Sparky. He's chewing a bone. It's storming. He's very anxious. So he's separated from his brother right now because they are too much. I was saying, if you are looking for any help with your exercise journey as far as making sure you're doing things right, if you're noticing some pain or restrictions that either weren't there or you're just noticing some asymmetries to your movement patterns, holler at us. Allow us the privilege to help you, because that's the game. That's all we're looking to do. We're not trying to create workouts. We're not trying to replace your favorite modalities. We're just trying to help you understand how to move your body so that you can go out there and move it however you want to. So if you're looking for some help, we have a subreddit that I've created. Just simply Range Fitness Online. And if you want to create a post, just making sure you're using our community, give it a title, put your post in here, right? And then you can put in a little thing and bobber, tell me what's going on. If you're having pain, where you're feeling the pain, what you've noticed, things that you've done. And then come next Thursday, we'll take a look at it. If you're there right now, hit me up in chat and tell me you put one up. I'll stop what I'm doing and we'll go look at it right then. So, without further ado, let's get it. We're going to slide down. All right. This actually fits in really well. So my goals for myself, as I talked last week, I just want to be able to wipe my ass and let my body die before, or let me die before my body dies. Music's back on. All right, here. Looking at a farmer's carry. Let's restart. Got a little giddy up there. That's okay. Farmer carries are one of my favorite exercises. It really allows us to hone in a lot of different focus points. So this can really be an all body, a full body endeavor for us. Me. Little snippet, slide a snippet on in. We'll get crack-a-lack. So farmer carry, these are, again, really excellent exercises. One, you always hear them used as a posture exercise, and that's fine. They are a posture exercise in some sense. They can be, but with any exercise, it can be a posture exercise. Don't need red. Red will probably not work out well here. Like green, maybe. What I mean by that is, every movement you're training your body. When we are conscious about it, right? That's better, right? It's how do we want when we choose when we lift our arm, that we're just lifting the arm and it in our mind's eye, hand is the end point, is whatever we're reaching toward. Or do we think about the entire chain of what's going on? And so does that mean I think about pressing my shoulder, poking my elbow in, and I can reach up? So when this matters most, isn't like when I'm drinking. That's a good opportunity to maybe retrain motor patterns, such that maybe as every time you grab a little thing like this, right, you notice how it really extenuates maybe something in your hand or your wrist that creates pain if you do it for too long. So then you have to start changing how you hold your cup. Those are kind of that same sense of it in a little bit. So all I'm trying to say though is farmer carries can be a great posture exercise if we're in good posture. Especially if we have weights, and particularly for farmer carries, right? Farmer carries, people go really fucking heavy on these. It's not that you shouldn't, but it's just like any exercise. Just because you can drag that weight across the floor does not mean you're using good form of technique. It just means you're moving something really fucking heavy. And I get nerdy about this. Harp on this all the time. Movement is a skill. Exercise. That's the thing. We have this word exercise, and I know people always just know what it means when you say exercise. It means you're working out your body. And I always go back again to the math idea, or the school idea. In school, we have exercises. There are mental exercises, there are math exercises, there are physics exercises, English exercises, spelling exercises. And all those exercises are to prepare you for the test. Really, in even a bigger macro sense, they're just getting you ready for life, right? Like beyond them fucking classroom doors. Imagine how there's certain people that are very dedicated to their homeworks. And I feel for a vast majority of us, it's just like, we'll get to it when we get there. Can you imagine, like, if you spent as much energy working homework assignments as we did on, like, projects or tests? It would be it'd be more exhausting than it already is. That's what I mean. You're just gonna get to this point where you're not really growing. You're just checking boxes, so to speak. I'm off into a tangent here. When you think again as exercise, training, better at the movement itself. Weights go up secondarily, right? That's just part of the process. We can stop having the weights going up as the goal. That's what it is. We eliminate that sense, and we start learning how to feel stress in our bodies, how to push when stressed in our bodies, or how to keep pushing when stressed, yet also finding that boundary when to peel back on our technical efforts. That is when you're going to really create gains, and you're really going to help grow and establish your armor tee over your body is so overly dramatic, but that same idea. When we're into these farmer here, we're already into a collapsed chest. If we're already with a distended stomach or sway back, and we pick these weights up, we're only amplifying that. So that's what I mean is farmer carries can be a great exercise, but we really need to have our body already in a good position as we look. So as we're looking here, a very long roundabout way of doing all this, John. So as we're looking here, general cueing, and we'll even talk about this athlete as well, some more specifically. For general cueing on a farmer's, again, think about our shoulder blades. We're gonna pull them together, slight retraction. I always like the idea of holding a coat, not necessarily a maybe 2-inch, take 2-inch space. At the same time, we're thinking about pressing our shoulders down away from our ears, as if we're trying to create a little space from our shoulder and our ear, or pull your shoulders down to the sides of your ribs. You know, all this is doing is locking the shoulders in place. It's also going to help you lift your stomach up, help again be broad across the collarbone. Now, when we do these kind of efforts, we have to be mindful because there's two very common compensations. And one we kind of already see with this athlete is our elbows tend to go backwards. So, outstanding. And so if my arms are down by my side in this farmer carry position, when I think about my shoulders going back, right, we tend to pull our elbows back too. So I always tease it as like, you look at I always tease my clients saying, don't look like the little cocky guy trying to get into a bar fight. Back. Don't move back. We don't want that. Shoulders. Arms. Stay under the shoulders. Elbows under the shoulders. That's a very common compensation. And part of that is the weight. Part of it is movement pattern. Part of it is being aware of where we are in space. The other compensation that I feel may be present, and it's hard to tell from this angle, but is again, are we getting too much sway back? All those little arrows. Right, so the two common compensations that people have, they're trying to squeeze their shoulder blades in. It's going to be their elbows are going to swing back towards their midline, and then their belly will distend. I guess you could say the third compensation would be also as our head goes forward. Right? Not up, but forward. So you can even see as I'm trying to demo here and talking to the mic, as I pull my shoulders back, my head tends to want to go forward. And it's all of this sense of our bodies are clever, y'all. We have this sense of we want to move our shoulders back. And so it's all relative, right? Back from where? Where is our sense of center? And you know, is it the tip of my nose? Is it where my eyeballs are? Is it, you know, my brain? Is it my heart? My sternum, my chest? Is it just like my center of gravity, wherever that may be, based on my body proportions in that given moment? Where do we see our point of movement, our point of origin, as it were? Right? In math, when you're charting stuff, right, we have the X and Y origins, or the X and Y coordinates on like a Cartesian graph. So it's always easy to be able to determine how far something's moved relative to another. Our bodies, they just know we're trying to go as far as we can with something. So we pull our shoulders back. We're really not cueing into the feeling of our shoulders pulling. Right, we'll pull our shoulders back and our head will go forward. Our ribs will flare. Our elbows will go back. All in this attempt to create the biggest that differential, if you will, or at least a sense or an idea of differential. And that's where compensations are. And that's what compensations, if they are left untethered, become more and more problematic. Let's see what else happens with this carry. I love the tempo. I love the tempo. One of the things I see really done wrong is on farmer carries. A lot of times people go too fast. We act like we've gotten,
you know what's better than job searching?
Big delivery.
Literally anything.
Got to get it to the door fast.
Indeed profile makes doing anything job searching. Listen.
Now, some other observations for this athlete.
Yep, catching up on your podcast.
And I feel
karaoke in your car. Go for it, because when you add your skills and experience to
he
your
hates the
Indeed
thunder.
profile, it works to match you with great jobs while you're doing just about anything else. So stop job searching and start job matching with Indeed. The world can work better.
A couple observations I'm seeing or feel I'm noticing here. Snippet, zoom in. So one observation is the angle of this dumbbell versus this dumbbell. These are minor observations, but again, over time, these things can build up and start causing us issues. Or they're indicating a bigger issue that we're guarding against or we're compensating around. So again, we see this dumbbell looks to be a little more upwards on the front end, so to speak. And this dumbbell we can see looks to be a little more down. Now we could say that it's the angle of the camera is kind of off too. So again, we can always refer to the person that's doing it. Other kind of observations I've kind of seen during the walk. Feel free to watch it with me. I feel this person is putting more of their weight on this side of their body as they're walking. Now, granted, yes, it's a still photo with them on their left foot. But as they walk, I feel, again, this left leg I feel stays really tight underneath the body. I feel this right leg looks to kind of veer off to the side. Again, these minor observations that we can play with and refine in our game. Now, without any input as far as if there's pain or things of that nature, right? We can only go with broad generalizations at this time. So again, if you're having a particular issue, big thunder. Come here, buddy. So nervous. Pass out. I'm dead for the day. Again, minor observations. If you're aware of them, try to make those tools. We see these little things, we make those changes or those adjustments and then see how the body feels. Because right now, all this is going to feel likely very normal and whatever. I don't know what you're talking about. Just walk. When we find those little observations and you start making those little adjustments, you'll feel different agonies through the body. All of a sudden, things feel a lot more difficult because we're working muscle patterns that haven't been used before. Again, interesting observation. Again, as she walks, we'll focus on, again, on, is it heavier on one side of her body? Even as are the hips even pushing out harder this way potentially? Too much. Now I will say too, there is always going to be a little shift left to right. Again, we're kind of, that idea is the center line. And how much of this is also the camera at an angle that makes it tough for us as well. So another kind of easy hack when farmer carrying is find a line on the floor, or again something that's in front of you that you can work back in front of, back and towards. Now while we're here, a couple of, again, general cues. This dog has been... Oh, what up, Coach Sam? Seen you in the mornings in a while. This dog is wearing me thin this morning. These storms coming through. Just one today. Just the one. We got thunderstorms coming through. So, you know, we have to freak out all morning. Who needs alarm clocks when you've got 2 dogs? Because I'm Ratchet AF. Uh-oh. You got in the clubs. Hello. What up, SSW Cool? Thanks for stopping by. Where did I get the... Hello. Where do you get these videos? I beg and grovel for them like the cheap whore I am. You waking up and I'm going to bed kind of. Amen, man. You know, typically when I'm doing my night streams, you're just kind of getting up and I'm going to bed. So, you know, we got to be those votes of the night. South by Southwest, I beg and grovel for them. This is my wife. And the rest of them are me or people from jiu-jitsu. But if you have an exercise that you want some review on, slide over to our subreddit and we'll get you on. Can I hop in on the form reviews one day? How so, sir? Giving your professional sense as well? Or do you want to get yourself reviewed? Do a co-stream, a joint stream? I'd say why not? Have a party with it. Don't have to be a joint stream. I get you. Let's see. What was that? We're talking about farmer carries. So again, farmer carries, I love these suckers. There's a lot of different varieties. Kind of like how you got your other coaching fired. What? Kind of like how you got your other coaching fired. Friend. Oh, Paul. Gotcha. I didn't get nobody fired, man. People get their own selves fired. I don't fire nobody. Yeah, for sure, man. We could probably do it from time to time. I ain't like too many people here, right? Actually, I've been thinking about getting in, doing some weightlifting myself and trying to get into some power cleaning. So it'd be interesting because I don't do too much of the power aspect of things. And I focus more on just kind of that standard methodical. I'm getting into some of my lifts here. I know a guy. Yeah, more of a bodybuilder style cadences and tempos, if anything. But yeah. Uh-oh. Ready to see the dog go freaking out here in a second? Yes, I know. We don't. The only power I have is Oompas during jiu-jitsu. And then I'm exhausted. I know. Gotta be better, man. Gotta be better. Part of it is I just don't have any reason to work it, right? Like, I know I have reason to work it. I feel like I get my power training elsewhere. But it'd be good to make those dedicated moments. So, then we're going through a max strength phase here. And then then probably in about 4 to 6 weeks, I'd like to get into some quasi-powered. You need to talk to my girl who started training to supplement her BJJ. Now she's snatching and cleaning full time. I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. Those power, those quick bursts translate so well to that, I feel. Okay. A blue belt as well. And you know what else translates really well to jiu-jitsu? Farmer carries. Farmer carries are one of those, you know, I use them, I think of them more as like a catch-all term. Where like you can have a squat, but is it a front rack squat? Is it a back squat? Is it a low bar back squat? High bar back? Goblet squat? Box squat? Whatever. Farmer carries, you can, again, I like these because they're very versatile in that sense. So like a jiu-jitsu person, get you a couple of towels, right? And then you can do grip training that way. You have kettlebells instead of holding the bell or holding the handle. Flip those bad boys over. You'll probably have to go to like 5-10 pound kettlebells when you start this out. All right. Doing farmer carries with an open hand, open palm, plate grips, you know, plate pinches, doing plate carries as your farmer carry. I'm waiting for her to start rolling again so that I can change up her training for her turning. You know, you bring up a good point there. Is that it's periodization, right? And seasonality. But I find a lot of athletes who don't have natural seasons find it really difficult to properly periodize their training, I feel. You would love my S&C style for jiu-jitsu. I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. And it's getting those high bouts of energy, explosion, with as much weight as you possibly can, and then making sure you ain't fucking up your technique while you're at it. That's where I think too much goes wrong when power. That would be my biggest beef with it, is people. I don't think that there's bad exercises. I just think there's bodies not ready for them. Maybe brains too, if we want to go that deep. All right. Farmer carries, the other thing is we always think of them just down by our sides. And when we want to think about joint health, we want to think about just overall well-being of our shoulders and our torso or our whole bodies, is we got to get out of the sense that farmer carries are just down by your side. And so this could be where you can do front rack carry, do overhead carry. One of my favorite variations would be front carries. Right, and so this could be something like you do maybe some pull-ups or some overhead hangs or something of that nature, and then go get you some like little 3-pound weights or something like that. And then front raise. Hold those weights in your hands, lift up, keeping the shoulders depressed, and then walking around. Only back bed exercises come from Seedman and Nuwadi. Fuck those bugs. I'm assuming these are people that are overcomplicating basic movement with like Bosu balls and too many bands and shit like that. Like, I break things down. I look at it as kind of 7 base movements. We got hip hinge, we got squat, we got lunge, horizontal vertical press, horizontal vertical pulls. Now, yeah, she caught me. Right, we got that hang position, if you will, rack position, if you will, for the shoulders. But in the grand scheme, I think of exercises breaking down those 7 categories. And yeah, there's isolation lifts too, so like bicep curls, calf raises, hamstring curls, or knee extensions, whatever. But I think, again, in the broad sense of things, where we really get ourselves in trouble are those gross motor movements. And then again, Seedman, I don't know, let's look this guy up real quick. All my accounts. You stealing my account? I think I've heard of this. Joel Seedman. No, this is just. Share this, right? There's no harm in sharing this. Like, we look at this one here. He's trying to do what looks like a bird dog with a row. Just do the row. Just do the bird dog. There isn't any reason to really overcomplicate this. And he does a lot of isometrics. I'm not against isometrics. I use isometrics as well. But that's going to be more for what I would say would be rehabilitative or reestablishing purposes. You have purposes if you want to think of it that way. Or in a squat and he's bicep curling. Again, not great, but not horrible if it's just a static. But again, what else are we doing? We're not getting any blood flow. We're not really getting any. No contractions or eccentrics happening in the static. So, how do we get in and out of it? That's. And if he's got any of these like Bosu ball kind of things, that's kind of absurd. Keeping it simple. Not trying to over. A weightlifting coach who did his masters with Joel Seedman. Seedman is a fucking con. Yeah. Oh my god, I want to get in on the mic with you. Well, let's get some eye bleach. So on the last little bit on these farmer carries, again, things depending on your level of it. First foremost is getting your shoulders and stomach engaged, having your shoulders broad, your hips staying under the shoulders. Take small steps as you walk. You can work on opening your stride as you get more strength, but you take smaller strides, you'll stop the bounce or swaying as much. Other things I play with, and we're not highlighting it too much, but it's even as we step, I like the idea of almost like you're tippy-toeing across the floor with your heels very low to the ground. Still drag the bottoms of your shoes, so to speak, on the floor. But keep your toes, your forefoot still on the ground. Her bicep needs to be further away from her torso. Agreed. You mean out in front or out to the side? So you want a little more lateral.
Your gut affects everything, even your mood. So Ollie created 2 brand new products to take care of your insides. Ollie Big 10 Probiotic has 10 strains of probiotics, their most ever, to support a healthy gut microbiome, immune system.
What is are you on the lateral, what are you aiming for on that? Or is it that she's got her elbows tucked too far behind her? Oh, under. That's how I learned from Strong Fit and his coaches. It helps keep your torso and it helps with keeping your torso and hips stacked. Agreed. Okay. Now the QI I'm always looking for is stacking that elbow under the shoulder more so. All right, so not letting the elbow get behind us, let that elbow be behind. Yeah, not definitely squeezing. We're not trying to necessarily squeeze. I'm always thinking rotation. Okay, that's a very good point. Keeping everything stacked on top of each other. And again, this view makes it a little difficult to kind of tell what's where. That idea of, I guess it's the kinetic chain, right? It's just ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, dome, all stacked on top of each other. And really pretty much anything we do. It also helps those weights are too light for a proper farmer. See, I'd almost disagree based on her shoulders. I think she could probably go a little heavier, maybe. But I still feel that it's, with the way these elbows are kind of peeking behind her more so, she's got more of her shoulders tilting forward right now. So if she can get those shoulders down and back, I'd be all for it. But even right here, it looks like you could almost put a PVC dowel behind. between her back and her arms right here. And that's what I'd be wanting to avoid for. And we don't need the weights pulling people's arms out of the sockets, right? And then even if you can get that little push forward, I encourage you to try that. Because you'll get a little... Yes, you do. But you push that little weight a little forward, you'll get a lot more delta activation too, not just them hanging on or being along for the ride more so. All right. You ready to tear me up? You ready, Sam? I've been working some box squat for myself the last couple of weeks. Put me in, coach. So I was working about a 14-inch box. And so this today we're down to 12-inch. Now my right shoulder's been giving me some funkiness. I attribute it to doing too much crap on my computer versus any mobility shit for myself. So I think this was maybe second set. But we're just, again, been a while since I've been under a bar. And it's been a while since I've gotten my ass deep. But right now, for me, I'm more just trying to navigate, feel myself in place. Kind of fine-tune little things that I'm noticing during each rep. Other things that I know for me is my right leg is one of the things that really takes my mind, in that I'm really focused on trying to keep my inseam down on my right foot. I tend to have forget whatever it is, but that pronation or supination. My foot rolls like many people do. And then along with this too is that my right hand starts getting irritated. And a lot of it I feel is coming from that shoulder, not being able to keep it externally rotated with that wrist pressing forward. And I refuse to do the starting strength modification of taking my hand and just putting it on the outside. Julian Pinu deleted his videos. What happened? Said he wanted to make money elsewhere. Stop giving my shit away for free, he said. That is sad when you got good resources like that have been available, and then for whatever reason they take them. Their property though, I guess, right? A la vie. All right. Again, we're looking to try to keep this bar again over that middle of our foot. And really, if this is a deadlift, a squat, this is always really the idea. And the magic of it's not so much that it's the bar, right? It's the center of your mass. We want the center of the mass staying over the middle of our foot. And this is where you can get in all kinds of different arguments about proper squat depth and squat technique, because different femur lengths and what have you. All very valid. All very valid. Now, part of this comes too, though, is how do we train, and what is it that we're training? You'll commonly hear Paul and I critique the shit out of chest press, in that commonly people go too deep in their chest press unless they have to recruit their delts or other compensating motions to get the weight back up until their chest actually connects, if you will, and it finishes out the squeeze. Oh, you're whispering to me, eh? Thank you, baby. Check them out here in a minute. Thank you, honey. I've been working at it for a few years. Now, beginning with the chest press, I know, right? I got Discord. Man, it is a thing trying to do this social media crap. I do 2 streams. I do the PB&J stream and then this grinding Gainz right now. And set time away to make shorts. Post them on Meta and YouTube. God bless, it just eats my day away. And then I gotta go do my own workout, Sam. Yeah, I know. I need to get Discord involved. I think people like to use Discord better, fuel, at least on Twitch. Fitness and health in like 2 games. That's it, right? Dude, I have been stuck on the finals. I love that fucking game. I tell you, Chivalry 2 just had a big sale, so I picked up Chivalry 2 for like $5. I can go be a knight. Chop people's swords. Use Discord for clients and my online build. Yeah, I mean, that's basically kind of what I use Reddit for. I guess we could use it for other things. This dog, man. Getting on me. So real quick, taking it back into max lifts or again, movements. It is a lot of flashy lights and a lot of quick twitch kind of stuff. Your depth is going to be obviously limited by your ranges of motion, which you're currently able to get in and out of. But as we add load to our body, it is going to shorten our available ranges of motion. I always say, if you don't believe me, go grab like a 5-pound weight, and how far can you hold that 5-pound weight out in front of you? Now go grab a 50-pound weight. How far can you hold that 50-pound weight out in front of you? Right, like you can't leave. And you're either a giant human being, or you're having to stay far away such that you can not fall over. So again, when we get into squats for the win, right? So when we with or without the safety bars. So when we go to things like squat or chest press, your body weight squat is always going to be your greatest range of motion. As you start loading up with weight, your range is going to shorten. And so you have to make kind of a decision. Are you going to work on training your glutes, right? And just the glutes with something like a shallower squat. And that's where you'll see maybe more of instead of a parallel thigh, which is kind of what I got going on here. To get a true, more glute-driven squat, you're going to end up with more of a 45 degrees at your knee. I can't draw straight right now. Right? So that I was working with a client who had shit mobility or was recovering from pain. That's not what we want either, John. Online. Don't we all? About like that. Right? In that case is, again, this 90 degrees really helps keep load in the glutes. If you're lacking, again, proper mobility, my greatest squat, my highest squat is going to be that high. Now, is that a competition squat? No. But it's going to keep the tensions in the glute. It's going to keep the tensions in the hamstrings. If we start getting too deep, the glutes can't really contribute in a meaningful way in an ass to grass squat, right? And if you are watching people lift, when they come up, if it's too much load, they do kind of that good morning or that stripper style squat, right? They shoot the hips up and then they can drive the glutes through. And the same thing for that bench press, right? If our elbows are going deep below the shoulders or below the rib cage, your chest no longer meaningfully contributes. It's all in the delta. That's only if they have weak hammies. The other thing I'm thinking about is, again, being in a kind of like a cylinder. And so even with that hip hinge, no Kang squat. Not heard of a Kang squat. And then earlier we were talking about that kind of center of where do we feel ourselves moving or generating force from. And again, a lot of times on squats, you know, we just get into this rhythm of up and down. Stripper squat. I got you. So twerking. But when we're standing, really think about that sense. Are you pushing through your feet? Are you pushing the ground away through the leg? Not just this idea of up and down. Right? I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry. Some things can't be helped, sir. Really, again, sense your legs doing the lift. Sense yourself, again, engaged with the glutes, engaged with the hands, engaged with the quads, pushing through those legs. Now, other things that were... Dude, we went to... Where did we go for vacation? Not Isla Holbox, a little island out off of Mexico. And we were out on the beach for one day for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I was in the shade off and on. And at one point I said, man, I think we should go. I'm feeling a little crisp. Had a lot of peeling skin, and then just back to my sour cream nature. Last thing, if you're working your squat, again, is going to be how your torso is doing or not doing. Speaking of the Kang squat, because even on a Kang squat, this is going to be true, right? It's this relationship between your hips and your shoulders. And core engagement's what we're talking about here. That's the whole idea, the sense of proper bracing. Now, a lot of times, I'm guilty of this as well, as we focus a lot of bracing on our tum-tum. Right, we just talk about the stomach, the core, soft underbelly section, right? And that's important. It is a part of it, but it's not the entire part, right? Because if that's the case, if you only focus on your stomach, that's where we'll end up in that rounded spine. I realize I'm doing my colors all backwards here, huh? Green is normally good and red is bad. Pushing against the stream, pushing against the grain. In any case, we don't want to be in this collapsed spine. When I was in CrossFit, one of the things I was doing wrong is I was in the inverse. I was in a hyperextended spine. And then back again to my injury, my specific injury, what was happening was basically my hip flexor was being overstretched. And yeah, it was not a good time. Not shade, I'm speaking my experience. The only thing I would really say bad about CrossFit is you have a lot of well-demeaning coaches with, I don't think, not enough experience with general population. Selling a service that requires a shit ton of mobility. And for, I think, most people, they don't focus on the mobility aspect enough because, well, they're a CrossFit gym.
Your gut affects everything.
They're there to sell the
even your
CrossFit
mood.
product.
So Ollie created 2.
They're not there to necessarily sell mobility. But to my issue is, again, I thought I was engaging my core, and I just selling a service without the sign. Yeah. But I would just hyperextending. And it wasn't even that I was hyperextending my back.
Product is not
Now that I'm
intended to
thinking out
diagnose,
loud
treat,
with you,
cure, or
Sam.
prevent any disease.
I was just creating a sway back. Like I would antevert my pelvis. I guess it'd technically be like that. And then I'd have my back. It was terrible stuff. It was terrible. It was not a good squat back then. But as we go through the squat, right, this relationship between my shoulders, dude, I had a horrible anterior tilt. I probably had it back in high school too. remember in high school, I'd always have like low back pain. And I remember sitting, like if you see in the side, I remember sitting like, I was that kid that had my chair tilted, sitting on the edge of the chair, just sway back all the fucking time, not even realizing it. I'd be like, man, why does my back hurt? Back hurts. Do more shit to it that makes it worse without knowing it. But to that point, right? From the shoulders to our hips, we want to maintain that relationship. Nothing from the hips up changes. Right? All the movement comes and is driven by the legs. Up here is all isostatic, if you want to think of it that way. That's how I herniated my lumbar. Yeah. Dude, I don't doubt. Like I'm pretty sure I've had a couple herniated discs here and there. Like jiu-jitsu one time, some big boy stacked the fuck out of me, and I was a dumbass and was fighting them. That wasn't fun. So I'm pretty sure I had either a pinch or a herniation from that. Now, depending on how bad, it's always how bad it is, because people walk around with these things all the fucking time. It's just, do we do anything to try to help rebalance our spine, or do we just leave that chunk of jelly donut out there to be crunched on some more by our spine? And that's a tough one, right? Because that can take, a couple of weeks to a couple of months of altered exercise patterns. And when I recovered from my hip, when I came back from my hip imbalance, it was at least a month of nothing, which wasn't right, but that's just what I did. And then it was probably a solid month of, core work, basic hip hinging practice, dowel hinges, dowel squats, box squats. I think it was probably about 6 weeks of it. I finally was like, man, I'm tired of squatting with this fucking plastic bar. I'm gonna try. Let's see what a barbell feels like. And my God, was it something else. The thing that really cued it all for me, that really connected it all, was learning how to properly tuck my tailbone and get away from that anterior tilt. What things do you do now for your back, Sam? How are you dealing with it these days? Or is it a thing of the past? Nothing. Because I coach Olympic lifting. All right, so here I think I only get about 4 or 5. So this is my first time tangoing with 135 in a couple of years. I haven't touched up. Oh man. Gotta be tough coaching. How do you scratch that itch? So as I get under the bar here, again, I do take my time. Like, one of the things I hate sometimes seeing with some of these big, dude, if you're up for it, man, depending on what's going on, if you got your scans and everything, I get certain things are so far gone, there's not much, but you want to do like a session, video session with me, let me know. We'll try to work something out, see if we can't get you a little bit of relief. It's an itch on it. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe we can get you walking more than 3 miles. Yeah, something like that. I was just thinking, if anything, we just record your session and post it for the world if we get some help. I do sesh for sesh. I have to figure out where to go barbell training or ollie lifting. Here they got some pads in the deadlift room. They got some bumper plates. Teach me what I'm doing wrong, man. So as I'm getting set up here, one of the things I hate seeing, especially when like guys are getting all excited for a big heavy lift, is they rush into it and they just stand up real quick. And I get it. You want to get jacked. You're using your smelling salts, whatever it is. to me, this is probably one of the most important parts of the lift besides the actual execution. Right, because here is where we're taking an unloaded body and applying load to it. So if we can't, if we don't enter the tunnel with a good engaged core and an engaged body, like we're not going out of the tunnel in a better position. All right, so he's got herniations from your L4 down to your S1, stenosis C5 and C6, and C7, T1. So lumbar and sacrum. So low back just above the pelvis, right, in that region. And then he has a narrowing of, so we think about our spine as a tube, if you will, and it's got little holes on every vertebra. And that's where the nerves go out to the body. So stenosis is that narrowing of those holes. Oh man, sorry to hear that. Cerebral palsy is not a, well, you already know it, man. Heart goes out to you. It's one of my things. I was telling someone last week, man, my goal for myself is to let my body outlive me. Well, no one gets out alive either. But if nothing else, maybe we can, like I said, we can get a little clean up some of this, maybe help you out as well. All right. I mean, I think I go for about 4 to 5 here. See what we get. Excellent, man. Definitely. So again, with the heavier weight, it's going to be, the body's not going to be as willing to get down here if we don't have strength throughout all of the contributing places. Yeah, 135 here. I take a break here because my right hand or right shoulder's not feeling right. So trying to debate what's going on. If it's pec minor, but here I'm trying to get into my teres a little bit. I'm trying to smash in through here. I tend to have something back there that's a little cranky. Coming into here to work a little external rotation, again trying to lengthen in that pec minor a little bit, and then stretching this out. Yeah, it's kind of it just feels cranky in the whole shoulder complex. Nothing dangerous, but it's like I just don't want to keep on going. And then I'll even get kind of a hyper acuteness in the base of the palm. And then after those kind of corrective measures, I get back in and I actually feel a lot cleaner through the shoulders. I feel a lot more secure and stable within the shoulders. I'm trying to find bar placement and then wedging myself under. And finding placement again. Probably go a little quicker here. What's the exercise, my guy? Guess I was done. Said 1 was it. It says face pulls. Yeah, I've been neglecting shoulder health like I need to, so I do need to try to spend a little more time, especially again with jiu-jitsu, with being more active in this social media landscape, taking that time for those guys. Now the other thing I'm wondering is I feel like I get a little too upright here, Sam. And so even when we get too upright too, right, I'm just trying to have my arms get ripped off of me. So that's again too where I feel I need to keep a little more of a hinge. Like right there is probably decent. I feel like there's a little rotation there. One more here. Uh-oh. Weather fucking with my internet. Uh-oh. Did I lose you, Sam? Are you still there, Sam? Music's still playing. I still have internet connection. That's good. I think your Valslava might need to get a little stronger. Talk about my breathing technique. I think, again, we can keep a little more of a hip hinge at the top. I think that probably go a long ways into helping. You're saying you had a rotator cuff exercise. Great tell. What you got, man? What's the super secret here? Yeah, that forceful exhale would probably not be a bad thing. I probably am a little slow. All right, so this is from Tuesday. I gotcha. Will do, man. Thank you. YouTube links. Better be YouTube links now. Ain't no need no U porn. All right. We'll get one set of deadlift here, and then I gotta get some coffee. Hey, what up, blindfolder? Thanks for following. So this is probably my first. This is my first, let's call it, getting into max deadlifts. So that's, again, my current cycle or period. Now, I don't use grips for my deadlift. I just, nothing really against them other than I just not too concerned about it. I was watching this earlier as I was uploading it, and man, I'm borderline embarrassed about my fucking right arm, right side here. I'd like to say it's the camera angle or something. Ah, this irritates me right there. Those things you never fucking realize. That's probably not the best because I look like I'm resetting. Ah! Off. So as I'm getting set up here, the big thing. Yeah, for real, man. I'm doing my poor man's attempt at a hook grip. And it's this right side that I have a little bit harder getting a good grip on. My left side, I always feel like I have a strong grip in. And this, again, this right here is what, this gap right here, I'm not wild about. And if we're looking at the shoulders, the way I see this is, to me, this left arm looks really well externally rotated, right? You don't see my elbow tip at all. You see what I call the elbow pit. And then over here, like my elbow pit is facing more of my knee. You can almost see the tip of my elbow right here.
Why settle for boring, tasteless vitamins when
I even
you
feel like
can
in this shoulder looks a little more
VitaFusion Power Plus multivitamin gummies give you 100%
Dude, so on Fridays, I'm not doing my Friday streams anymore. I might hop on, and if you're streaming, I might hang out with you. Fridays are
loud on flavor, heavy on nutrition.
Hang out with the wife.
Came to rock.
I got to figure out another
Power Plus multis. Get your
gaming night because I do enjoy doing that. My little wheel of agony. But if you heading out, my man, I appreciate you swinging by. And then I'll check out those whispers you sent me. I appreciate you reaching out there. But as I'm looking at my lift here, this is just, to me, is just horrible. A lot of times I feel like I nitpick on some things for myself, but this is one of these kind of big glaring need to get cleaned up. Probably game stream, but if you're free, we can do an off stream chat. Fair enough. I'll touch base with you, my guy. I appreciate it, Sam. And I'm definitely interested about a sesh for a sesh. Go rest, go sleep, or go eat some breakfast. Just do it peacefully. Be well. Absolutely, man. I ain't got no choice. Might as well. So yeah, in this deadlift, again, a lot of things that I'm focused on too. A couple of my mental notes for my body is one, I'm hyper conscious on not letting these feet roll out. Again, specifically within my right knee. My right knee, I've got, I don't want to call it an injury, but I have instability within this right knee that I'm retraining. I get a lot of pops and clicks in my knee. No pain with them. I don't have any restrictions in movement, but I definitely kind of build up either what feels like a gas pop every day or so within the knee that has to get relief. To me, I feel more of it's a imbalance that's occurring and it just kind of accumulates, and then it eventually needs kind of a release to some degree. So things that I'm working on, again, wanting my feet as parallel as I can. Now, that being said, it looks like I might be able to have some space to rotate this one out a little bit more. All right, so that way my foot might be more in this line. But ultimately, I'm really trying to drive a lot of force through my big toe. And it's that big toe joint that I'm wanting not to let loose. It's that I'm trying to keep planted to the ground. I said it in another video, it's like I take like a roofer's nail, he's driving that sucker into the ground so that way that inseam stays flat. Not to say we're trying to get a flat foot, right? We're not rolling the foot down and flattening out the arch. In fact, we're doing the opposite. We're creating an arch. We're creating a rigid cave almost to our foot. And then working up that chain, right? The more force I push down through here, like if we just drew this line up our leg, right? That right there, that line of muscle really gets cooking because of that. A lot of times, the big compensation many people make is we're so focused on getting our knees wide. We're so focused on pushing with our glutes. And what ends up happening is our foot actually will roll over and out. And then we're only pushing through this outer edge of the foot. Again, that's creating an instability pattern that's going to again create issues up the kinetic chain for us as we continue that lift or that lifting pattern. So again, for me, what I'm really having a hard part on for myself, and these are less, to me at this point, it's less of a, oh, wouldn't it be nice? This is me making sure my knee doesn't blow up on me one day. Keeping the big toe down while simultaneously keeping my knee wide and not allowing it to cave in or collapse in. And because I'm doing a lot of this, so to speak, I'm still trying to be mindful about this shoulder being back and pulling down, right? I'm trying to be as mindful as I can of rotating this elbow in and getting a solid grip here. But it's a juggling act. And so that's why, again, we have repetitions of our exercise. we focus on some portions of it, we get better about it. And then as we refine and we get better with it, that's when the weight goes up. We only increase the weight once we've proven to ourselves that our technique is there to maintain it. Let's see what happens here in this deadlift. Again, feeling it blows my mind how I'm not even aware of that right arm not even touching. Other observation, right, is not really. I look a little off centered even to the bar. And I feel like this knurling is more past my shin, and then this knurling is very interesting to see. And then seeing over the top as the bar hits my junk, right? We can see how far the bar is. So the bar is actually favoring to my right side. So I'm actually holding more weight on the right side here. Interesting. Well, that's a curious little observation that I would have not seen with not this video. You think someone who spent so much time trying to get their grips together that they'd actually be centered on the bar. Trying to reset. Yeah, even on that one, the bar looked kind of crooked or tilted to me as well. So yeah, it looks to me again like all of it is just highlighting all these lifts. Every single one of these lifts actually that we've watched so far today. As far as it concerns to me, right? We see this shoulder dysfunction. This right shoulder, how it's not quite working the way it needs to. Am I having pain? So even here, oh, this is beautiful. Okay. Oh, Paul was here, he'd be just having a day of it. So there used to be this show called Candid Camera, Candid TV, Candid, your son's Candid Camera. All right. Wasn't a great show, but it was a show, you know? And the thing people loved about Candid Camera, right, is you got to see people in their true character. I remember growing in school, teachers asking, what is character? And basically he summarized it as like, maybe it was integrity. Maybe he was talking about integrity. I don't know. Some life skill virtue thing. But effectively, it was like, how do you act when no one's watching? All right, the old, was it the two cookies? Like if you thing for kids, like if there's nobody watching you, do you eat the cookie and then you don't get the second cookie, or do you not eat the cookie and then they come and give you two cookies? Kind of a crap. But that, how do we act, or how do we behave when no one's watching? I just got done with this deadlift. I know it's being recorded. Now, I promise you I wasn't trying to think that I'm going to record the end of my lift. Like, it was just, I need to see how I'm doing in the lift. I want to see how my performance is in the lift. But I stopped it here. Why? I talked about character. As soon as that bar got out of my hands and I was into kind of a relaxed position, or just a moment, this left shoulder, really awesome position. Right? Like we can see the elbows slightly rotated in. You can see my thumb is pointed more towards the ceiling. Right? We look, again, the space even here, less space here, really big and wide under here relative. You same thing we're talking earlier, like the elbow pit, right, is really facing more towards the center, where this elbow pit facing a little more upwards. And again, if we needed more proof of that, right, look at where my thumb is pointing, where this thumb is pointing. These are getting this split second. You know, what the fuck does it matter, John? You just let go and you're tired, and that's just how the bar. Right? There is no coincidences. We got there. There's a reason this happened. So again, part of this could be pec minor issues, right? Some brevity in that pec minor could be causing that tilt as well. It could be some issues in the subclavicle. For me, I'm thinking though it might be either something in the lat or my teres minor. All right, so if we look at chewing. I just want the picture. I don't know if y'all can see that. We'll try to go away. All right. So this is on the back side of your body, right? This is the right shoulder. So this teres major is a big one that comes up under. So teres minor is the one I was asking about, but teres major I think is actually the one I'm having issues with. So if we look here, you see this little green color. So that's that muscle's connection. And you can see here, if you look how it's attached out there, basically pull your humerus bone in that externally rotated kind of position. And if we slide Bowser Big Bean Burrito, how we doing, my guy? Or gal? Learned some anatomy this morning with me. Then we got our teres major, and I think that's my culprit. I think this is the one I'm having more issues with. But again, we can see here, and y'all have a hard time seeing it. We can see again, it connects to the shoulder blade and it's running outwards, but then it goes underneath your triceps. And it actually comes through into the front of your shoulder. And so we can see here, we had something coming from the back side and through to the front. Now, if that thing pulls, it's going to create a forward kind of tilt to our shoulder, or even a internal rotation based on the angle more so. The way that's. And so for me, it seems like that right side, my right side, maybe teres major, in conjunction with probably some pec minor. It's never just one culprit, really. But it seems to me that those might be the guys causing me some issues. And again, when we look at this still frame, when we compare left to right, again, we can see that my right shoulder's got that more rotated in position versus that left shoulder. So that's, again, we look back into the lift. That posture dictates my ability to be able to get in here. And then once I actually get set up, and that's what sets us apart on that right side from the left side, right? So we get everything tight. We think we're ready to lift. And as we lift, again, we see the same compensation. We see that same habituation, right? In that, right? Wish that was easier to. I just want the picture. Oh, well, can we do this? Oh, man. Are we going to do big brain move here? Oh. We got that. We go new. Not there. New. There. Control C, and we're going to paint. Oh, yeah. And we're going to move that one there. There we go. All right. I know the second one's a little grainy. We'll just have to fucking deal with it. It is life. Straight line. Straight line. All right, and again, so we sit again. Yeah, the bar, whatever. But again, we can see the same elbow positions, right? We can see that space under here versus here, the space over here versus here, right? So that compensation, that muscle imbalance of my right shoulder is what's dictating my ability to be able to do a good deadlift. Now, is my leg still working? Are my glutes and my hamstrings and my quads and my calves, are they all still working? Yes. Yes. But they're not working as best they could be. And again, the whole point of this thing is taking time to realize some of these little innocuous things, because even as as I was highlighting, right, we can see that this bar is more favored this way. It's not working out the way I wanted it. All right, but the bar is this way. Thus, there's more load on this right side. So the side that I'm compensating with has more load unbeknownst to me. And so again, all that is just strengthening more and more of that imbalance. So that's why we care about those things. But is it the end of my workout? We will save this. No. It's not the end of my workout, but I've got to, again, be mindful of it so I can take action for it so it doesn't become an issue. All right, y'all. We made it. We made it. So that's a wrap for this morning as far as our form reviews go. And I got things I got to do this morning as well, so it kind of works out well. Take a quick moment here. Thank y'all. Coach Sam, had a great conversation with you this morning. Definitely look forward to working with you and you helping me out with some things of my own. Ow. I always want to call you Browser, but you're Bowser. Big Bean Burrito. Thank you for coming in, man. I always appreciate the emojis and the cryptic conversations. And then I think we had a new follower today. Yeah, Blindfolded 32. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for following. I think we had another person pop in and ask a question. Southwest cool. SSW cool. Thank you for stopping in. Thanks for chatting. Look, y'all, Range Fitness Online. All we're here to do is help people get out of pain, help them move well, and do the things they enjoy. If you're a power lifter, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a soccer mom or just a weekend warrior, or maybe you just enjoy the things you enjoy. It could be some Warhammer, some D&D. You might do jiu-jitsu. Might be a jiu-jitsu nerd like me. Maybe life is really good and you're doing everything right, but you got this one nagging pain that just keeps popping up. Holler at us. Let us know. Again, the whole thing we're doing here is trying to spread fitness knowledge. We don't want it to be kept behind a paywall or things of that nature. How our bodies move should be universal knowledge. How we fix a lot of these things should be universal knowledge. Now, you got to take an hour of my day that I'm not giving. Yeah, that's going to take, I'm going to charge. But if you come hang out with us here at the stream, you know, that's why we're here. We're trying to create a community of people understanding underlying maybe physics, so to speak, of how muscles work for themselves. Build your knowledge. Because once you have the knowledge, man, like, you go do your own shit, right? Like you can make the modifications, you can make the changes. You're no longer dependent on someone else. And so that independence is huge, whether you're talking about from longevity and vitality standpoint, whether you're talking about trying to save money or just, again, have your general sense of independence. So any of that kind of hits or rings bells for you, man, hit us up on Reddit, hit us up on YouTube. We're on Twitch twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday evenings, it's Paul and I, our co-show, our joint show. We chat about this, that, and everything. And then Thursday mornings, form review with me. Exercise review. Again, if you want to get yours reviewed, hop over into, again, our subreddit at Range Fitness Online. Create a post for yourself. And Reddit is completely anonymous, so it's kind of like Twitch in that regards. If you want to block out your face, feel free to, and we'll help you out. Until then, next time, y'all, thank y'all for being here. I guess I should try to find someone to raid, huh? With our 2 people. Let's see if there's anybody raiding. Raid? Oh my, it was muted, but it wasn't. I guess the music's muted, huh? Oh, Vel. All right. If anybody got any recommendations for a raid, let me know. If not, we're just going to see who we following. Oh, DGen. Perfect. He's probably about done with his morning workout, but he's a great motivation. Really awesome guy, man. He put in the work. Every day he does a little something. So thank y'all for being, oh, y'all aren't over here. Y'all over here. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for hanging out. Again, thank you for the new follows. And enjoy DGen.